Hello fellow toasters and roasters out there. Welcome back to another episode of Roasting at Mill City Roasters with my host, myself as your host, Bryant. Today we are going to be roasting that other special coffee from Ethiopia, that Idido washing station. We just had that washed coffee that we just put up. Now we got a natural. So cool, right? Washed Idido and natural Idido. Doesn't always happen, but it is a fun way to kind of like look at coffees that are kind of like from the same area, some smallholders around that specific station, so that you can kind of experience that coffee from an isolated spot. It's kind of unique. So worth kind of like checking both of those coffees out. Like I said, today, roasting the natural. We already roasted the wash. Make sure to check that video out as well. And also pick up some greens. So, going to be charging at 405 degrees. Going to be doing a minute soak, going in at 1.2 for gas pressure. This coffee is going to run a little bit longer than that wash variety did, because we can't just plow this one with heat. The idea with those naturals, right, you're trying to not just like blast away all the fruit, special stuff that you paid like maybe $1 extra more per pound for. So we want to be a little bit more delicate on these coffees. So burner is off, temperature is coming up, and soon to go downtown, and things will be better when we're at 405 degrees. We're going to be Rick-rolling into this roast at 405 with our gas off, so make sure to hit that ignition button. 406.3, slowly declining. Give yourself enough time to get comfortable and start the roast. Don't go eat a burrito and come back and then, start your roast. 405 degrees, charge, get that coffee in there. Woo! Round X for the day. You roast all day and you get to play on camera with coffee, roasting for you. All right, we're coming up on 30. We're declining in the roast. And like I said, 1 minute, 1.2 for gas pressure is going to be our very first course of action in this thing we call roasting. Everything is declining as it should be. See everything kind of like starting to slow down slightly. 50 seconds, count down to 10 until liftoff. 1 minute until we go to the dark side of the moon. Great album. Get that on your Roasters playlist. Start listening to Pink Floyd. Then our waving hello to our good fellow Chris, one of our trusty advisors in the warehouse that helps get all your roasters looking as shiny as they are when they arrive. Gotta treat the warehouse folk nice. It's like, treat your barista nice, treat your roaster nice, treat your importer nice, treat everybody nice. They're all your best friends in this coffee journey. We all work closely together and everybody's got your back. Cool. So we're coming up on turning point. Coffee is just starting to bottom out. We already see our drum temperature starting to increase slightly, so bean temp is following. And it looks like 137 for turning point is where we are sitting on this roast. Perfect. So we're holding steady, about 3.5 minutes in. At that time, we would have been done brewing a cup of coffee, but this is roasting. So we get to have a lot of these little pauses where we can get up to shenanigans and look at whether our mouse is working and look at the tumbling, mesmerizing view of all those beans inside that drum. 2.5 minutes, coming up on 240 degrees for bean temperature. And ROR just starting to peak out, just starting to show that we're moving at 8 degrees, 9 degrees, 10 degrees per minute. Remember your rate of rise. What's the right number? What's the right number for your rate of rise? And easy answer, rate of rise is what works for you. not what my rate of rise says, not what Mr. Hansen's rate of rise says on the Reddit tunnel of all sorts of roasting shenanigans going on. It is what you need to get to your end goal in roasting. Rate of rise will only be higher if you have installed different thermocouples, if you have offset different things. There's a lot of information behind just the profile and what the lines are saying that we don't know about unless you tell us your offsets, your thermocouples, everything according to your system. So take those lines with a grain of salt and focus on what's going on in the cup. Decrease in gas to 0.8 for gas pressure. About a minute. Yeah, setting close to a minute prior to green to yellow. And then we're going to be upping airflow here as well. Again, got to count how many times I hit the button to get airflow up. But decreasing prior to green to yellow so that we can just start cleaning out the drum. Cleaning out the drum, keeping coffee clean, keeping your coffee tasty. It's Wednesday. Everybody loves Wednesday. The show was very good too. Check it out. Netflix. Wonder if we get royalties for mentioning that. I'm kidding. So, coming up, 3:01. We got color change starting to happen. Oh, so sweet. Reminds me of a zebra gum. Zebra bubble gum. Yeah, it's very just kind of like toasted bread piece. With a little bit of jam, a bit of buttery, but yeah, very bready. Yeah, zebra gum. The gum that you can only have like one stick of and for like 30 seconds, then you have to pop another stick in your mouth, but it just tastes so good. We did another gas decrease at 3:13, decreasing down to 0.4, elongating that mid-phase, giving some time for that heat to work itself into the seed, so we don't need to spend as much time in development of this coffee, and we can kind of just ride this out nice and smooth. We're not rushing heat, we're not rushing temperature, we're just doing what we think we need for the coffee, and this is how I liked it. We did a couple roasts of this coffee. We did three. We did one that was kind of hot and fast. We did one that was kind of like, perfectly descending, like rate of rise. And then we did another one that kind of does this like, blip, bloop, blip, where it kind of like decreases, and then kind of like settles out and then decreases again. And that's what we settled on as a profile that we really liked. So, cupping notes on the web, of what we have for this coffee. It's just very pleasant fruit. Very kind of like Pop-Tart, jammy, just a very enjoyable natural. Nothing so crazy that you're like, I cannot drink a full cup of this. It's just wild enough to be very interesting and enjoyable, but not so wild that you have to share a cup between like 2 or 3 people. And some of those coffees, some of those funky naturals, it's like you just want a couple sips of. It's like the experience of that process. But nice, clean, fruit-forward naturals are what we're all about here. No funkiness, no ferments, no olivey or brine, kind of like pickly, like naturals. Just sweet fruit. Sweet fruit. All right. So we're at 0.6 for gas is where we're leveling out at. And now that I look over, this is what happens. I did not get my gas pressure down quite enough, so I am decreasing down that extra 0.1 kPa that was missed from pushing the buttons there. But we're still not too far off. We're just hovering above the profile, a little bit on the faster side of things. So our next adjustment should be in about 1.5 minutes. But because we've been having a little bit more energy going on, we're actually going to decrease down to 0.2 about 1 minute sooner. But first, going to increase air to high prior to first crack, about 1 minute. Give a little bit of time for that to settle in. Go move a little bit of that chaff, a little bit of that smoke. Still some heat going through. Trying to keep things separate a little bit so you know what's affecting what. I adjusted the airflow and I start to see my incoming air, my environment start to like decrease a little bit. because there's not enough gas pressure to maintain heated airflow. Now I'm decreasing gas from 0.4 to 0.2. Again, sitting a little bit earlier than I was expecting to make that because of that increased gas, so we're just kind of shifting everything to the left here. We still have a pretty long mid-phase, which is great. It's going to give us enough time in development, post first crack, to get some nice balanced sweetness in there. In the last-ditch effort, you can always do at the end of a roast, you do have about a 20 to 30 second saving grace, right? Because of all that heat that's already in the roaster. Hitting your ignition, riding out 0 for gas pressure, and coasting the roast. Just heard popping up in there. And nothing rolling. Nothing like the Rick rolling. Pop, 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 tap, tap, pop, tap, pop. There it is. 902, 384. I'm so sorry that I smacked the table. That may have been loud on the mic. Apologies. I got thumbs up from audio. They got my back. They know what's going on. Alright, so as we're riding out development here, 389, and I do want to kill the ignition to kind of give myself a little bit of leeway in the back end of this roast, so I can kind of like coast. We're going to be on a trier. Getting them smells. Still hearing, lingering first. Getting a lot of, some of that dry, almost kind of like grape cordial kind of stuff, a little bit of red grape candy. So originally we were riding out to about 11 minutes for this roast, but because we hit first crack a little bit earlier, 9 minutes instead of 9:20, we're probably going to go for about 10:40 in this roast. So things just kind of shorten up a little bit. It can happen at the end of your day when things are starting to run a little bit faster. You can always kind of run the parallel with your roast profile to try and get things back on track and where you'd like to have them. Chocolatey, fudgy, highlighting sweetness, kind of like simple syrupy on the nose. Ooh, pop in the face. We're gonna drop it there. Blueberry pop there. Classic. Right. Beautiful. All right, everyone. Well, that has been the natural rendition of this Idido washing stations coffee. We had washed last week, natural this week. Both are on the web. Enjoy them both. They're both lovely coffees. And until next time, keep roasting and have fun with it. Cheers!